18 at 4:30 p.m. I would ask all to please rise, and we'll have invocation followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. Please bow your heads. Heavenly Father, thank you for the many blessings you've bestowed on our community. As we gather here in public service to our town and its citizens, we ask for your divine guidance and wisdom to help us govern effectively, to do what serves the greater good and best interest of our citizens, and to be good stewards and guardians of this beautiful place we call home. In your name, we humbly ask these things. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. We'll say the pledge. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Please be seated. All right, our first order of business is the adoption of the agenda. I understand we have one proposed change.
I'd like to add, just for discussion, a 3A.
Okay.
It's short. Trash gate is one, and in addition to that, non-motorized safety issues.
Trash gate and non-motorized safety issues.
Right.
Okay. Anything else? With that, I entertain a motion to adopt the agenda as amended.
I'll make that motion. We adopt the agenda with item 3A added.
Okay. All right. Commissioner Cameron makes the motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Kilby. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right, we move to item 3, which is public comment. Is there anyone from the public here that wants to make a comment before we get into the main item in our agenda? There being none, I will go ahead and move on to item now 3A, which is a trash gate and non-motorized safety issues. Commissioner Kilby?
Just a couple of observations, and I've mentioned this to Dean, and David's here, so that'll be good. On the trash gate, everyone knows that's my pet peeve when we have an issue like that. And since we have the new boom, if you've been down around the dam, you've seen the new boom, and we have the old boom, a good bit of it that's still operational. And I suggested to Dean that we consider, he and David, if that's who needs to, and I've not brought this to the LAB, I just had this brilliant idea sitting on the deck the other night. If we could take that boom that we have, the old one, attach it to each side of the trash gate and angle out back to the new boom and tie those off. And when we need to open the trash gate, when we have an issue, we can just have it where we can unhook one of it, pull it back. We've got an alley straight to the trash gate. It can be left open, shouldn't be an issue as far as safety. And I think that'd be a good thing for them to consider. So I guess I'm asking if they would put something together for us to bring back to the next Marine Commission meeting. I would appreciate that.
Okay.
So you want to task the LAB to study that? Or?
I don't think it's something that needs to be studied myself. I think if we agree that that's something that, if we agree that that's something that needs to be done, we just
Make a motion.
I make a motion that we ask Dean and
Direct them to do that.
to do that.
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
We have a motion. A second.
I'll say,
Second for Commissioner Cameron. Discussion.
I just, task it through Shannon, let Shannon be in that conversation.
In that loop.
Yep.
Yep.
The other thing is,
Well, can we vote on?
Oh, I'm sorry.
We vote on that motion and then we'll move on. Okay, so all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, the non-motorized safety?
I think one of the biggest conditions that we have for tragedy is non-motorized safety. And I think kayaks and stand-up paddle boards are, that's basically the majority of the non-motorized we have. I'll give you an example. My neighbor Sunday was coming back down from up toward the resort and going through the middle of the lake, and there was a guy and a child had all the two separate paddle boards. And when he got there, the guy started saying, "Slow down, slow down." This guy's in the middle of the lake on stand-up paddle
Telling
board,
it to slow down?
telling the boater to slow down. I see it all the time at my house. You know what the rule is, I guess, Dean, within what distance unless they're crossing?
Yeah, they're supposed to stay within the 75-foot no-wake area.
Unless they're crossing. And they need to be crossing somewhere where it's not in the main channel.
Right, it's supposed to be a 90-degree crossing.
And it's a tragedy waiting to happen, okay? And I would like to also make a motion, well, let's discuss it. I think that we should consider a standardized safety chart, questionnaire that Lake Lure Tours, Lake Lure Adventure Company, Roman Ball, and Question Center, the Lodge on Lake Lure have. That's a town developed form that everyone that rents one of those pieces of equipment reads it and signs it. They understand what that means from a safety standpoint, and that they agree that they understand what that means. And if they're out in the middle of the lake and they sign one of those things, get a fine. That's property owners or not, is my, now. Do we have people that get on the lake and don't even have a permit on their stand-up paddleboards and kayaks? Yes, we do. But I don't know how we deal with those, but unless we have a big blinking light sign over at the, I think they put it in there behind the ABC store now on a regular basis, people do. If they do that deed there and they don't have a permit, what are they instructed to do?
They're instructed they have to leave the lake and then go get a permit is their first one.
So if they're over there to get in the lake and they read that sign that says they have to have a permit,
Right.
can they go over to the Lake
They
Lure
can run over to Lake Lure Tours.
and get a permit?
And get a permit.
Well, I just think that's a real, if you're on the lake much and you see it, I think it's a tragedy waiting to happen.
And I think most of it's just people are not getting the information. And I believe a lot of it's through the rentals, because most of the ones I see are rentals. So I agree with John. We need to get the information out to them. And
Gary?
If I may speak.
Yeah, you're.
Anybody that doesn't know me. One of the things I have also seen along this line, John and Commissioner, that not only is it the ones that are coming from the rental companies, it's also coming from the rental houses. And also this year, more than I've ever seen before, I've seen people that are old-time residents that are here, that for some reason, the boats and all I've seen around before and all, but now they're doing newcomer things. So maybe we need to not only do it to those companies, but we need to develop this same thing to go in with the rental houses and to our annual people and all, so that
When they get a permit.
that everyone
annually,
Why don't we get a sticker made that just goes on the kayak or the stand-up paddleboard itself, that just, you don't have to have all the rules, but just say, remember that, non-motorized needs to stay within 75 feet of the shore unless crossing directly across the lake. Because that seems to be the biggest problem is, when they're out in the middle of the lake.
and there's even the Lakefront Owners Association, a lot of those are rentals maybe. But we just gotta figure a way to get that message out. Maybe y'all can come up with some things, Dean, and
Yeah, we need a renewed education push on it.
Right.
A very, very strong program, getting the word out more often, and I guess I'm a little more pessimistic than some, because we give them a sheet of paper with the rules, they don't read it, or if they do, they ignore it as soon as they walk out the door with their permit. That's being realistic. If they stand over there and read the sign, they don't care. They still go ahead and put it in the lake anyway. They don't care. Well, if the stickers. I mean, there's a lot of issues, and I understand the stickers too, but.
If the sticker's on the kayak and somebody's out there and Dean, you see them and they're just hanging around out in the middle, then, well, I don't think a warning is in order there. You know, they've got it there, it's on the kayak, and they know. But, you know, people remembering to tell any of these folks around that bring their own, or remember to tell them at any place they run them, that's, you know, that's going to work for a little while and then it's going to wear off. But I think a sticker on there that you know would go a long ways. You've got the information right there in front of you.
So I would make a motion that we ask Dean to, Shannon, to prepare something to bring to LAB at next month's LAB meeting, and to begin to put this together to be able to have something to bring to the Marine Commission for that.
All right, so we have a motion. Is there a second? All right, Commissioner Cameron seconds that. Is there any further discussion? There being none, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Very good. Okay,
John.
John, does that cover your two
Thank you.
items? All right, very good. All right, well, then we move along to the main item of business, the only item of business, actually, today. Beyond this is item 4, which is the Camp Lure Crest request to relocate the swimming area line in the lake to enhance safety to the campers. And I have on our motion sheet here, Dean, that are you going to sort of give us a little background, or how's this going to work? Between you and the property owner here, or you want to come forward and discuss what your proposal is and why? In our packets, we have a couple of maps that show where the swim line is now and where you're proposing to put it. So maybe you could give us a little explanation about this.
Chris did, and Chris did come to the LAB.
He did.
Last week and presented it, so the LAB did ask.
And they recommend approval.
Recommend it come to
Yeah.
here, so.
Okay, Chris. Well, introduce yourself. And
Thank you.
Yeah.
Chris Decker, I'm the Executive Director at Camp Lure Crest. I want to thank you, Mayor Cooley, for having us, and Commissioner Kilby, thank you for getting this on the docket early so we can maybe get this taken care of. This is primarily a safety issue at our camp. Maybe you know this, but we have 65 acres and about 1,600 feet of waterfront. We use probably 300-400 feet of that at most. Most of it runs on down to Larkins and then on down to the middle of the lake. And so what you have here in front of you, I think, is what you have on your sheet. You can see the red line there is where the current swim buoys are, and we've got some concerns about not being able to protect the kids, or at least to have a barrier for them to swim. And so this is the proposed, I think that's the next sheet you have, the dark lines are where we'd like to place the buoys. And at any point when there are kids down there, they're probably anywhere between 30 and 70 kids, depending on how many cabins are down there. And so there's quite a few kids around. We have 6 lifeguards that are down there at all times when kids are there. And there's 210 kids that come to camp each week when we're full. We usually run between the beginning of June all the way up to the middle of August. So we're in full swing right now. So I appreciate you taking time to look at this and maybe move this through so we can get this done before camp is actually over. I did go out this morning and take some pictures of our waterfront. So this is right out front. You can see where that no-wake buoy is. And the idea is this is where we think we'd like to place the buoys, this little white line. That's what we think it would look like from that angle. So it would come out about 15, 20 feet past the iceberg where it currently is, would start at the end of the dock where the wood rope swing is, go out to that little buoy, which we would buy a no-wake buoy and put a solar light on the top of that to make sure that fishermen at night could see it, and then would run over to the other side where we have a canoe ramp where we could anchor it into those poles that are down into the water that are anchored to the shore. So that's what that would look like. Here's a couple other views that might help you kind of see what we're talking about. And these are estimates, they're not exact. We think probably from that, right next to the iceberg there on the right, there's a concrete set of steps. From those steps out to that buoy past the iceberg is probably about 50 or 60 feet, we're estimating. That's how far that would be out. Dean and I talked about maybe sinking a buoy there and making sure that we anchor that down so it's safe. We already have rope and buoys to do this. I wanted to come and get your guys' permission and feedback on where it might go. And this is the last picture, maybe as you're coming towards the camp there. Sorry for the two pictures. I had to take two pictures and put them together to get the whole panoramic view. But this is what it would look like if you were probably coming from the middle of the lake back towards the camp, back towards Larkins. So those are our proposals, what we think might be best. Dean's been super helpful to come out and talk with us about it and look at it. He came out a week and a half ago and we walked around the waterfront and looked at it and came up with this idea that we think would be the best to provide safety for the kids that are at camp each week.
One thing that Chris mentioned in our LAB meeting is they have had problems with public using the iceberg, thinking because it's in the water and on the lake, it's there for public use. This would be something that would have some help to deter that some too from people pulling up there, getting on the iceberg.
Now, is this setup needed after August? Is this something that could be removed at the end of your season? Or?
We could. I think if we put that anchor with a swim buoy right out in front of you can see if we go back here a little bit, this one might be the best one, right in the middle in front of the iceberg. If we can leave that buoy up, then we can anchor back in and out when we're not in season.
Because I figure it's a long time between seasons or not, and this would free up the fishermen if they want fishing.
Yeah.
Now, are you going to keep the iceberg in or all year long? Or
We'll take it out. We take it out every year.
In August also?
Usually comes out, we have camps that come in on the weekend and we leave it up probably till the middle of October, till it gets just too cold. But we put it in and out every year.
Your white line, is that going to be a rope with buoys?
Yes,
Is that
it'll
what
be
that is?
a rope with a normal, like swim lane buoys.
Floats, right. Okay. Is any of that outside of the 50 feet from the shoreline? Or more than 50 feet from the shoreline in any area?
We can make sure, well, it will be, if you look right here, if you can see, you can't see my mouse on there, but if you look where this picture is, where the rope swing is, it's obviously more than 50 feet from that line back to where the water slide is that you can't see. Back here to the left of the iceberg, that's way more than 50 feet if you go back into the cove.
But you got,
Yeah, I understand in that cove area, but I'm talking where it extends out right there.
At the furthest point,
I mean, where your current swimming area is like protected by land on three sides, and that's like a cove set back in there. But you want to bring it out across in front of the iceberg, and I got that. But other than that particular area, is anywhere that's more than 50 feet from the shoreline?
I think the furthest point would be where the proposed no-wake buoy is with the solar light. I think that's 50 or 60 feet, I think.
So that's really the only reason you need to come to us, because everybody can swim anywhere within 50 feet of shore all around the lake. There's no requirement for specific designations for certain properties. So really the only reason you're doing that is to put that rope out with the buoy markers and that extra buoy. Yeah, I have no problem with that.
There was discussion at LAB about, well, what if the neighbor down the way sees the buoy out, the swim buoy, and they want to put one in? And, I guess our explanation of that would be the camp has 1,600 feet of property, and, it's strictly a safety thing with the number of campers. They have 200 kids there plus a week, so that was our thinking.
plus they have a camping zoning district.
That's
that
true.
Others don't.
Yes.
And at no point are you going out beyond the 75-foot no-wake
No.
buoy.
No.
But yeah.
I think that buoy that's out there in this picture is probably pushing that 75 feet, is my guess.
That's where it's supposed to be.
Yeah, I think that's probably about right. When we put the waterfront in, the new waterfront in, we lost about 12 feet putting in the riprap, because we had to take it back up to make the slope right, so we lost about 12 feet back onto our property.
Depends on who you talk to.
Well,
So I would, while you had that photograph up there, we didn't really have a chance to say this before, but you did a really nice job on your waterfront project.
well, I'm going to give credit to Wyatt Smith. He's our property director. He's
You did
here.
a nice
He and
job, Wyatt.
Raylan Boyd
Really,
and a
that's a
couple of the
great
guys
model,
did some stuff.
the way you've done that with the riprap, and the project seemed to go real smoothly, and it happened to occur during a difficult period for us.
It happened very quickly, too.
It did,
Yeah.
yeah.
Didn't feel quick to us, but appreciate it.
I make a motion, we approve Camp Little Crest request.
All right, we have a motion from
As presented.
Commissioner Weber. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Commissioner Moore to a second. Any further discussion? If there is none, then all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right. Well, that brings us to our final, Bob.
Yep, I'll make a motion that we adjourn.
We have a motion to adjourn. Is there a second?
Second that.
Second. All those in favor say aye.
So-
All those opposed, same sign. We adjourn. Thank you very much.
All done.
All right. So in-
Thank you guys for